Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a place that has been a profoundly significant part of India's story for millennia. We're exploring the complete history of Gujarat. But listen, this isn't just going to be some timeline of dusty dates and fallen empires. From 3700 BCE right up to the modern era, Gujarat's history is this incredible, unbroken thread of adaptation and enterprise. It's a truly stunning blend of deep-rooted tradition and cutting-edge modernity. Think about it for a second. How exactly does an ancient port city transform into a modern global powerhouse? It's a pretty wild transformation. I mean, how does a region maintain its status as an economic titan over thousands of years, surviving migrating populations, shifting empires, and colonial rule? Keep that question in the back of your mind as we trace this extraordinary journey today.
So here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the ancient port cities. Second, temples, sultans, and trade. Third, empires collide in Gujarat. Fourth, the epicenter of independence. And finally, an industrial global powerhouse.
All right, let's jump straight into Part 1, the ancient port cities and the birth of maritime enterprise. Our story actually kicks off way back around 3700 BCE, right alongside the emergence of the Indus Valley civilization, which is literally one of the oldest in the world. As that civilization started to decline around 1500 BCE, the Aryan migration brought in entirely new Vedic traditions that kind of permanently rewired the region's culture. And that setup paved the way, centuries later, for some incredibly powerful regional dynasties to take root.
To put this early genius into perspective, we have to look at Lothal. This wasn't just some basic settlement, okay? It was a massive, bustling, ancient port city and a huge center for maritime trade. The ruins left behind show us a highly advanced urban society. They were engineering advanced drainage systems, building super sophisticated dockyards, and managing these really complex warehouses. Even thousands of years ago, they were already absolute masters of global trade logistics. Crazy, right?
But it wasn't all just about commerce. Right alongside that commercial brilliance, some incredibly deep spiritual roots were being planted. Following the Aryan migration, Gujarat became home to Dwarka. Now, according to Hindu mythology, this city was the capital of Lord Krishna's kingdom. And today, it still stands as one of the 7 most ancient religious cities in all of India. This matters because it proves that right from its earliest days, Gujarat has been this unique dual powerhouse of immense wealth and really profound faith. Moving right along to Part 2, Temples, Sultans, and Trade, a Cultural Renaissance. So, by the 8th century CE, the Solanki dynasty takes the reins. And you know, when massive wealth meets real vision, incredible things happen. Under their rule, Gujarat became an absolute hub of art and architecture, giving us jaw-dropping structures like the Sun Temple at Modhera and that incredibly intricate stepwell at Patan. But this cultural renaissance wasn't just carved into stone, it lived in the people. This era gave us the enduring devotion of the poet Narsingh Mehta, whose love for Lord Krishna still resonates today, and the totally inspiring charity of Saint Jalaram Baba, who dedicated his whole life to selfless service. Now let's fast forward a bit to the year 1411 CE. After centuries of regional kingdoms and invading forces kind of playing musical chairs with power, the Gujarat Sultanate steps in and firmly takes control. Sultan Ahmed Shah actually founds a brand new capital, Ahmedabad. And under his rule, Ahmedabad absolutely flourished, cementing itself as an undeniable mega hub of learning, culture, and, of course, global trade.
Which brings us to Part 3, Empires Collide in Gujarat, the coveted jewel.
Things are about to get really tense here, because a rapid-fire succession of global superpowers suddenly descended on the region. In the 16th century, Portuguese traders show up and set up outposts right along the coast. But their dominance didn't last long. By 1573, the mighty Mughal Empire under Emperor Akbar sweeps in and takes control. As the Mughals start to fade in the 18th century, Maratha forces aggressively step in, leading to some fierce territory battles. And finally, in the 19th century, the British East India Company basically forces its way in, rolling the whole region into the Bombay Presidency. It was literally a non-stop, multi-century tug of war.
So why all the fighting? Well, Gujarat was the ultimate coveted jewel of commerce. Every single empire wanted a piece. But here's the really wild part. Despite all these invasions and shifting rulers, the local economy never collapsed. Why? Because all these conquering empires actually had to rely on the existing, highly sophisticated networks of Gujarati merchants to fund their own royal treasuries and military expansions. Honestly, the empires needed the merchants way more than the merchants needed the empires. The business of Gujarat, it seems, was always business.
All right, on to part 4, the epicenter of independence, leading a nation. The 20th century hits and it brings 3 massive pivots. First, in 1915, Mahatma Gandhi returns to India from South Africa, completely changing the region's trajectory. Then, 1947, India finally wins independence, which kicks off this monumental task of integration, and then in 1960, the Bombay state is officially divided and Gujarat finally becomes its very own distinct state.
Now, what's truly profound here is the massive impact of just one person from this region. Born in Porbandar, Gujarat, Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation, literally changed the course of history. When he set up the Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad, that specific spot became the absolute epicenter of India's nonviolent struggle for independence through civil disobedience. Gujarat basically provided the philosophy, the leader, and the proving ground for a free India.
And right alongside him was another monumental figure hailing from the state, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, famously known as the Iron Man of India. See, post-independence, India wasn't fully unified yet. It was kind of a highly fragmented patchwork of princely states. It was Patel's formidable leadership and sheer diplomatic willpower that integrated those fragments. So Gujarat didn't just help win independence, it quite literally stitched the modern map of India together.
And that leads us to part 5, an industrial global powerhouse, the modern era.
Since becoming its own independent state in 1960, Gujarat hasn't just grown, it has absolutely exploded onto the global economic scene. We're talking about a massive industrial boom. It rapidly emerged as a titan in thriving textiles, advanced chemicals, and these absolutely massive petrochemical operations. That famous Gujarati entrepreneurial spirit we've been talking about, it went right to work, transforming the landscape into a modern economic juggernaut.
And that exact same spirit paved the way for some major modern icons. Think visionaries like Dhirubhai Ambani, who founded Reliance Industries, and Gautam Adani, who built the Adani Group into one of the biggest business empires in all of India. These figures and the massive companies they built aren't just shaping the state's destiny today, they are driving the economic trajectory of the entire nation.
So, as you can see, we've come perfectly full circle here. On one side, you have the ancient ruins of Lothal from 3700 BCE with its advanced dockyards and maritime warehouses, and on the other, you've got the modern skyscrapers of Ahmedabad, giant petrochemical plants, and massive global business empires. The technology has definitely evolved, and the scale is totally off the charts now, but that foundational DNA, that unique, enduring ability to adapt and build enterprise is exactly the same today as it was 5 millennia ago.
Which leaves us with this final thrilling question to think about. What will the next 5,000 years look like for a region so completely defined by its ability to adapt and thrive? From the Indus Valley all the way to modern global commerce, Gujarat proves that while empires rise and fall, the spirit of enterprise, it's an unbreakable thread. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next one.